This week's Parsha is, along with Mishpatim, is Parshas Shekalim. There are 4 Parshas: Shekalim, Zochar, Hora, Parshas HaChodesh. So I'm going to take one derech and I'm going to switch over to another one in a moment. The Parshas Shekalim is a reminder that we are not whole. It's a machzis shekel. A person has, at this time, by the way, the month of Adar is the Chodesh HaTshuvah, is a month of Tshuva. And just as, if you think of it in these terms, Elul before Tishrei is the month of Tshuva, and Tishrei, of course, is the Rosh Hashanah of the world. Well, Nisan is the Rosh Hashanah for Klal Yisrael. We became a nation in the month of Nisan. So the month Adar, which is before Nisan, is a month of Tshuva too. So now you look at the big picture. The Parshas Shekalim, we're not perfect. It's only a half, number one. And as a result, along comes Parshas Zochar. All right, we understand. Amalek, etc. But there's another part. There's a part of Amalek. I hate to say it, but it's true. Amalek in all of us. Amalek has the koach of the Yetzer Hara. We have the koach, unfortunately, of the Yetzer Hara, or maybe fortunately, because this is already is the source of our schar in the battle and the struggle. However, the idea is that we have to be from ourselves. So once we realize that we're not perfect, then we understand we have to do something about it, and we want to remove the ra. And once we do that, we want to look back. What happened in the past? Well, that's Parshas Parah. Because Parshas Parah reminds us to purify, to be metahir through tshuva, that which happened in the past. And once we do that, we can go on to Parshas HaChodesh, that Chodesh is hischadshus, that we can start anew in our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that these 4 parshas are, we can find that they have a theme of a sequence. Now I want to take it in another derech. This derech is from Avram Elimelech Biderman. He looks upon the parsha and he says the following. The Medrash says, Amar Rav Meir, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed Moshe Rabbeinu a matbeya shel eish, a flaming matbeya, to show him this is the machzis shekel. So Astra asked him, Meforshim in general, why does the HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to show Moshe Rabbeinu a matbeya of eish? Let him take here. This is it. This, you see this matbeya? Let the Jews use this for machzis shekel. He doesn't have to use a flaming matbeya. Ella, what's the idea? The idea that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be able to give to us is that hislavus, hishtokakus, the excitement, the passion, the flame of Eish, all right, in the matbeya, and therefore giving the matbeya for a korbanos to be able to be used in the base of mikdash is that which one should have as much hishtokakus, as much a longing to do it, an excitement and a passion. All right, that's first of all. Now, along with this, the next question is, why a chatzi shekel? Why not a full shekel? So, all right, many reasons, interdependence of people, the reminder that, we have to, each of us are connected to the other, fine. But he's going along with the same idea. And it's as follows, Rabbi Biderman. He says, why a chatzi shekel? To emphasize, Hashem doesn't need our shekel. Hashem doesn't, it's not like we're supporting the korbanos. Hashem has many different ways to be able to obtain korbanos for us, and to see that we would have the wherewithal to get it. That's not the idea. The emphasis is a chatzi shekel is negligible. It's so the amount of value is so small. What is valuable? The hislavus, the hishtokakus, the longing to do the mitzvah, the enthusiasm and passion in doing it, and that is a sign for all the mitzvahs, that's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to be able to do this, with the Eish Torah as far as that's concerned. The next aspect of this is follows. He says that if the importance that is taught to us of Islavus and Ishtokus is so important when it comes to this mitzvah, so we can do the mitzvah of Machzis HaShekel at this time in particular, but interesting to see how far this can be spread out. But we can do it the same way they did it in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, and even perhaps more. What do I mean? That the emphasis is on our passionate desire, excitement to do mitzvahs. If so, we share that with those who had the Machzis HaShekel thousands of years ago. And therefore, even more because we don't have it. You know, it's like the person who comes in from America or anywhere else from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael. Where'd you daven today? I davened to the Kosel. And I'll try to be there for Mincha or Mariv if I can make it. And or other people, and outside of Eretz Yisrael. If I could come to the Kosel, I feel so bad I don't have the Kosel. Now, I'm not going to ask questions. When was the last time that you were at the Kosel, or you were at the Kosel, I was at the Kosel, or anything like that. But the point is that a person sometime who's there may not be there. And the fact is that longing to have this opportunity of, I'm going back to the Machzis HaShekel, we can share that passion with generations past. And and maybe even more so because we really don't have it and they had it then. But this is the point of part of Machzis HaShekel. Listen, Yis Hashem, we'll have this opportunity. Hallelujah, we should have the opportunity to use the real Machzis HaShekel, so to speak, in its entirety, along with the passion that we'll have for it. Fine. This is Parsha of Matan Torah. Chol Asher Amar Diber Hashem Nasa V'Nishma. Nasa V'Nishma is in this Parsha. Last week's Parsha is Chol Asher Diber Hashem Nasa. In this week's Parsha also, there's a Nasa. This is the Nasa V'Nishma. And where is Nasa V'Nishma? In Perek Chaf Daled, Pasuk Zayin. And we mentioned in the past, what is Chaf Daled Zayin? 24/7. And for those of us who use that expression, 24/7, 24/7 means all the time. This person's involved in mitzvahs 24/7, learning 24/7, whatever it is. Another person may be involved in his other ASIC 24/7. We're saying, Chol Asher Diber Hashem, Nasa V'Nishma. Nasa V'Nishma is operant 24/7. So somebody said to me that, well, perhaps Saint Jerome, who was credited with giving us chapters in the Chumash, so, it's interesting. The fact is, it could be Saint Jerome, it could be somebody else. The fact of life is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many shluchim, and it could be a non-Jewish person who gave the chapters their numbers. But the fact that it's 24/7 is a very interesting and I feel significant situation. Nothing happens by happenstance. As we say, a mikra is rak me Hashem. Mikra, mem kuf reish hey, rak me Hashem. I remember hearing from Rabbi Yaakov Weinberg, that when the Kadosh Baruch Hu came to Yishmael, and Yishmael says, Makasuba, would you want my Torah? Oh, Makasuba. He goes to Yishmael, Makasuba, and when he goes to Moab, Makasuba. So to Esav, Lo Sirtzach, to Yishmael, Lo Signav, to Moab, Lo Sinav. We can't possibly accept the Torah with those mitzvahs. Now, we can understand why as well. Etc., etc. However, the Jews, Nasa V'Nishma. All right. The question is, how could it be that the non-Jewish world wouldn't accept the Torah because lo sirtzach, lo sinaf, lo signa? It's like one sounds impossible. I mean, if you want to say we'll talk about Shabbos with 39 malachas. What about Shemitah, to try Shemitah? What about Parshas Mishpatim? What about any? Fine, but these major rules that society must have in order to exist. So Yaakov Weinberg said the following as an explanation: that the problem was not that they couldn't accept going over to somebody and murdering him right in front of them. No. But what about how brothers come? What about shaming someone? That he gets red in the face and then the blood, the face becomes white. What about abortion? What about euthanasia? What about all these things? whatever, this is what could not be accepted. The extrapolation. Lo sinif, I won't go into even what lo sinif could be, but it's not just the immorality of adultery, but it's whether it's on the newsstand, it's on all the other technologies. And we can see what, God forbid, what it does, to society, and not just Jewish society in general. It certainly is an area where we say we can't accept lo sinif. We see it happen. It's right before our very eyes. And the signav, it's not just it's not just the signav. Don't kidnap, so to speak, as such. We're talking about stealing in the sense Robin Hood. He stole from the rich and gave to the poor. Robin Hood was a ganef, but literature. And in the universal literature in the non-Jewish world, he's a hero. Pirates, think of it for a second. Pirates, that's basic unit of education in the first grade. And in schools, in the non-Jewish schools, pirates walk the plank. That's murder, okay? The stealing, plundering, this is it. These are heroes and put into a child's head at an early age. So this is what, when we say that they couldn't accept, don't think it's just is the basic over there. It is the extrapolation. What about the why, the lying? Going in, person calls up, is so and so there? He's the so and so, and the operator in the days of old. No, so and so's not here. Okay, you got the message across. Now the family knows whatever it is, is so. White collar lying on various situations. Ashlo al pi halacha in every way. It is something where we have to be careful. I know that the care that Chofetz Chaim in our generation, Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky is known, Titen Emes Liyaakov, of such care, and this fits in to where the understanding that Rav Yaakov Weinberg gave to this particular Gemara. I'll go to Shabbos.